Welcome to Talltale Tavern, the monthly one-shot adventure TTRPG podcast. I am your tavern master and host, Kyle. Joining me at the bar this month is, here against his will, Time, who hopes to have a better chance at not making a fool out of himself in our one-shot campaign than Stadia did at not getting shut down by Google. Welcome, Time, this evening. How are you?
I am doing fine.
Good, great. What is your character name and race? What are you going to be playing as? Who are you going to be playing as tonight?
So, I am playing as Sir Lahayat. I am a knighted Aasimar battle master that has recently been reunited with my twin brother to start a mercenary business.
Wonderful. Next, we have a man who is saved in my phone as spam do not answer. That is true. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you for having me. You're saved in my phone actually as drug dealer. I don't know if you realize that, but
that's
wonderful.
wonderful.
What you as. Yeah, I'm happy to be here again. Woohoo! Yeah, more D&D. Before you even ask, I am playing the aforementioned twin brother of Lahayat. Dirk is how you pronounce his name. Technically, it looks like Dirk, but it's a schwa, so it needs the sound. Dirk. It's not an E. He is a tiefling. What? Twin brothers? He is a tiefling battle master fighter as well.
And last but not least, joining and certainly not least this month, because he is our DM for this month's adventure, Zombie Doc, aka Ryan, is here to flex his creative muscles as an almost forever DM. Almost. I didn't know you have ever played as a player, but welcome.
My wife
Brian.
felt sorry for me and actually ran a campaign just so I could play. So that's been my fortitude in this game so far. So yeah,
good. Well, welcome to the bar, to the tavern, and we're excited to play what you have for us. I am a player this week, and I am playing Agathus Gloss, a GIF, which is the hippo race in D&D, a hippo eloquence bard, and very excited about it.
It's pronounced GIF.
No, it is GIF. Did you know in the Spelljammer book, it literally has a sentence that says it is disputed whether the race is named GIF or GIF.
Oh,
and
that's good.
And there is a very they get angry. The GIF people get angry on one side or the other and have to argue about it. So that was a
Very
pretty
good to
funny
know.
thing in the official D&D content. So it is GIF.
Okay.
But
Whatever you say, buddy.
But yeah, we are running a level 5 adventure today,
Yep.
and basically our the simple prompt was we're playing as level 5 characters on a skyship of sorts, and we have different roles as well. But I will leave it at that for now. And yeah, I think we should just jump right in. And so, as we zoom in to Faerun and go down to the Talltale Tavern in the heart of the Sword Coast of Faerun, in the burgeoning industrial factory town of Daggerford, along a forgotten smog-laden alley capped by rough iron supports, upholding a hastily implemented railway between the shops of a powder arcanist and a mana electrician, like an old dusty book forgotten amidst the others on the cramped shelf, rests the resolute Talltale Tavern. Fragrant smoke fills the air, ancient books line the walls. Pull up a creaking metal chair and learn of stories, some true, some tall. Have a drink poured out, watch the patrons trickle by, hear the newcomer boast and tout, try to determine the facts from the lies. The steel-banded reinforced wooden doors part, and in limps a figure clad in a rough, smoke-colored leather armor. Long dark hair pulled back in a loose, dirty ponytail. Smudged, reflective flight goggles adorn their sunburned face, left arm sporting a slightly bloody off-white bandage. Approaching the bar, they lift their goggles, leaving a starkly pale outline imprint on what you recognize as a very dirty but pretty female face. Her gold eyes piercing and intelligent. With a gesture to the bartender, she receives a shot of dark liquid and quickly tosses it back, revealing a tattoo on the right side of her neck. of a black horizon and a black sun just peeking over. She turns unsteadily on her right foot, briefly surveying the gathered customers of Talltale. A hush falls on the library-like atmosphere. Her gaze turns to the floor, and she quietly begins. Have you ever heard of the Obsidian Dawn? And thus begins our 6th adventure in the Talltale Tavern, Cloudy with a Chance of Fireballs! Roll the intro!
Blackness greets you. As the darkness fades from your vision, it rests on an alien skyscape dotted with foreign constellations known only to those who live on the planet of Toril. The silver of a waning moon casts pale light as the view shifts towards the rocky ground, quickly zooming thousands of feet down to the steel and stone buildings of Neverwinter, dodging between industrial factory chimneys belching gray and black smoke into the air, between soot-smeared 3- and 4-story brick buildings, past windows illuminated by candle, arcane, and even electrical lights, casting a mosaic of colors across the scape. It continues to speed its way to the rebuilt and reinforced Castle Never, which is surrounded by high Gothic arches, peaked spires, catwalks, and gangways of scaffolding and construction cranes. The central keep of Castle Never looms larger and larger as the concrete walls, decorated with chipped paint and scars of battle, fill the vision and quickly fades to black. Agathis, a quiet ticking of a simple open-faced clock on the wall across from the metal bench where you are sitting is the only adornment in this bare room. The wooden door you entered is slightly ajar, and there is a dim green lighting along the rough cement walls, illuminating the room that's roughly 10 foot by 10 foot square. In your hand is the official summons to the Court of Doves and Daggers, appointing you to appear at 1900 hours. The paper trembles slightly. You glance up. The seconds tick by. The moment the hand passes 12, a broad shaft of brilliant white light illuminates a 6-foot diameter region in the center of the room. I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Good. I rolled a 13.
Okay. Without a hesitation, you find yourself standing and walking towards that illumination. And as you are moving there, you don't even realize that you were doing it. It was like coming right out of you. You had no control over yourself. And as you step into this brilliant light, you are temporarily blinded. You start to blink vigorously, and you feel a jolt under your feet and the sound of stone grinding against stone as you are lifted up into the room above. As you ascend and the light is streaming down on you, what does the gathered court see? Please describe your character.
Agathis as a GIF, a big hippo head, and what most GIF are very big, large, individuals, and Agathis is very, very trim, extremely trim for a GIF. He's still pretty tall. He's like 6'4", but thin and very nicely dressed. He's wearing a kind of a jacket and tie with nice pants on, and just very finely dressed.
Okay. So, Agathis, you are being lifted up from the ground, and as you come into view, You find that you're in a very large space, but the lighting in here, it makes it difficult to tell just how large it is. The cone of bright light is still bathing you, but you see roughly in front of you, about 20 feet ahead, is about a 10-foot tall podium with a 15-foot expanse along either side. It's engraved with images of battle reliefs and victory and of peacetime and of war, and it's really, really immaculate. But on this podium, there sit 5 still figures. Each is dressed in a similar style with immaculate robes, but of a different color. The manner in which the light is shining on them from above alongside their hoods makes it hard to tell specific features. You might see a nose kind of peeking out here, bushy eyebrows over there, but it's very indistinct and you really can't tell the makeup, races, or even sex of the people that you are looking at. But the robes, you can tell. You see one that is emerald green, one that's auburn colored, a deep purple colored. You see one that's royal blue, and another, the last, that is like a midnight black. Silence for just a moment. What do you do?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. The light is so bright. I'm sorry. I'm here for my my summons for the court of the cloak and was it cloak and daggers? Did I say that right?
The voice coming from the royal blue color, very high, comes back. No, the court of doves and daggers.
I apologize. Yes, doves and daggers, of course. Yes, I'm sorry. The lights are very bright. I don't know if they can be dimmed at all. I would. It'd be nice to be able to see clearly who I'd be addressing. I don't want to offend anyone mistakenly.
Make a persuasion roll.
That is it was a natural 2 roll, but with my eloquence barred, anything below 10 is a 10 automatically, and which makes it a 20 with my plus 10 of persuasion.
And that was exactly the DC you needed. So,
okay.
Man
with your
cannot do
20,
worse than a 20.
I cannot do worse than a 20 on my persuasion.
So, with your 20, the lighting dims a little, not all the way off, but it's enough that you're able to see that you are standing in a huge room. Glancing about, you see that this is about a 50-foot diameter room with this 10-foot wall extending all the way around. And while you're facing this main podium, you can see like theater seating surrounding you, except for this main area where this court sits. The light is still shining brightly over their heads, mostly obscuring their faces, but you can pick out a little bit more of their detail now. The man, a bit burly, dark-skinned, sitting in the purple robe, leans forward, and his voice carries this gentle but a bit of a mysterious tone to it as he speaks. It's very calming as he looks down to you. 2 months ago, the kingdom of Silver Peak was besieged by the Frostfang clan. This has led to a significant reduction in their agricultural output and disrupted trade lines to the Sword Coast. As you know, our people are dependent on this lifeblood trade, as the winters have been growing increasingly harsh and the scars of the Mana War still blight much of our farmland. We need a cessation of all hostilities and a prompt resumption of trade. We will pay you a sum of 2,000 gold now and a further 18,000 gold on a successful resolution of this dispute. We have secured passage upon the Obsidian Dawn under Captain Nightshade. She will be transporting you and your team to Tilverton, at the northern tip of Cormer, which is the seat of power for Silver Peak.
Wonderful. Silver Peak. The Silver Peak Dominion, you say?
Yes, it is that.
Wonderful. My team, is this a team that I will acquire myself? Has this been provided for me?
As you say that, brilliant bright light flashes on about 10 foot on either side of you. And as that light splashes on, Dark and Lahayat, you arrive together at Castle Never and were quickly ushered into similar rooms separately. Nothing but the cement walls, single clock, and a slightly greenish tinged lighting on an otherwise bare room. The minutes have ticked by, and boredom has completely taken over. Lahayat, what would your character be doing, bored out of his mind?
I think that we've been stuck in this room now for a little bit. Nobody has come to check on us, correct?
Correct. It has been quiet. You might hear on occasion footsteps out the door behind you, but no one has checked on you.
Are we in separate rooms,
So
did you say?
You are in separate rooms.
How far are we? Me and Dark.
You can roll.
Separated by rooms.
You can roll perception to see if you can feel how far away from each other, because you were separated. You can get a guess at it.
Wonderful. Okay. I rolled a 13.
Are we both rolling? Because I crit.
Plus 3,
I
so
saw
it's
that.
16.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, great. So you get the sense that when you were walked in, you were taken down a hallway, and there were like these rows of doors all facing in. You get the feeling that you're probably a good 50 to 100 feet, roughly speaking, from where Dark is.
Okay. Doc, are you there? Can you hear me?
What? I hear something? I don't hear. Is it? What do you want? What? I'm taking a dump.
Speak
There's
up,
no
I can
toilet in
barely
here.
hear you.
There's no toilet. I just found a corner. I had to take a dump. All of a sudden, we're here. So they're going to be mad when they open up this door, let me tell you.
Dirk, try not to ruin the area. There's no reason to do that. Just wait for the guards to come here and we'll find out where we've got to go. Just relax.
The body doesn't wait. Once the shit's hitting the fan, it's spraying everywhere. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what kind of dumps you're taking over there, Lahayat, but, you gotta go.
The light splashes on in the middle of the room, this 6-foot cylinder of brilliant, bright white light, quite blinding. I need both of you to make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Crushed it. Dirk over here has got a 3 on that intelligence saving roll. I don't want to brag.
Hey, it could have been lower.
It could have been.
11.
11, okay. While you are shouting out kind of through the half-cracked door, you can hear your conversation going on about your bodily excrements. The light comes on, and in mid-sentence, like moths drawn to a flame, you are both compelled into the light. Similarly, the stone grinding noise occurs, and you feel this vibration as you are lifted individually into this room above. Dark, what do people see as you are lifted into the light?
Well, they see a very, relatively short, stumpy, squat little tiefling. He's about 5'2", we'll say, for him. He's only got one horn. It's right in the middle of his head, though, and it's been kind of worn down over the years from wearing helmets and stuff, so it just kind of looks like he's got a big bump on his head with, like, male pattern baldness going on with just a fucking ugly lump in the middle of it. And he's probably, like, got his hand down his pants, like, mid-wipe or whatever, as I get pulled up, He's not the most cultured, refined person, Dirk over here. Oh shit! Hey, there's is this the job? We're here for the job. What's going on? Pleasure to meet you. Pull my hand out. Hey, you hippo fella. Nice to meet you. Hold my hand out to shake. Oh, sorry. Wipe it on my shirt. We're good. It's clean. Don't worry.
Lion,
It's mostly clean.
as your character comes up, what do people see?
So they see I would say, mid-sized Asimir standing there. I've been gone through the training to be a knight, so you stand there a little bit more regal as no hands down any pants, no. I'm standing there. I've got a armor of gleaming, so everything is nice and shiny, and prim and proper, with winged boots as well, very slightly hovering off the floor.
Gorgeous. Now, as you come up, and Dark, you have offered your now very clean hand from wiping it on your chest.
I washed this shirt last week, so it's good. It's nice and clean. Don't worry.
At this display, the person in the deep royal blue, you see him kind of lean over to purple and go, we sure about this? About these people? Hearing this, the person in this very, very dark robe, the black, she sits forward, her face now illuminated, and you see probably half-elven, long, white hair that descends into some blonde tips as she leans forward, and she's smiling at Dark and at Lahayat, says that Lady Seraphina of Waterdeep speaks very highly of the two of you. She said that you were able to get back her stolen property, but that there was collateral damage. This court needs to ensure the safety of Ambassador Agathis Gloss. We are prepared to pay each of you, and she looks at Dark and Hyatt specifically, 10,000 gold, with 1,000 gold up front each. But we'd like to know that you could accomplish this mission without, how did she put it? Oh yes, destroying the whole damn building.
I can assure you, although my partner here seems a little bit untamely, our company, the Twin Oath Security, can guarantee that this job of yours will be
I
successful.
think what my brother's trying to say is this hippo over here doesn't look as fragile as that lady's box of vases, so I don't think we're going to drop it, and I don't think we're going to break him, so I think we'll be just fine, okay?
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, no problem.
The black robe figure turns and looks at Agathis. What do you think? What questions do you have?
Well, as you've brought me here, I think it is clear that you understand the quality at which I provide my services. I obviously do care a lot about this town and the people of the Sword Coast, and striking this deal is not only beneficial for me in coin, but also for the state of the country. I do have a question about the compensation. I do find it fair, the total sum of 20,000, but in making negotiations and things, and there are costs that usually come up, and I don't believe that the 2,000 up front will be enough for this. I'd be willing to take an extra 4,000, 6,000 up front, with a reduction of 2,000 from the total sum. So then 6,000 now, 16,000 on the finishing of this endeavor. And as for the defecating man, the man who's defecated on the floor, and his friend, and this is a side note, we've worked together before, right? I think
you are aware of each other. You have both served at different capacities during the Mana War as part of your backstories. So you are aware professionally where Dark and Lahayat have been more on the mercantile front. They have been successful at some rather large jobs that have been in the news of the Sword Coast, up and down that whole line. However, your work has been primarily in the negotiation front of being seen as a bit more of that peacemaker. With the most recently, you have accomplished the Moon Sea Alliance, and you had been able to settle a large dispute at the Agama Summit. So there's a couple of different things there. So you're professionally aware of each other, although your circles don't always come together.
Okay.
What I would say is that sometimes actions speak louder than words, and for your benefit, you have the words and the actions to uphold this team. Will be a very good mix for this.
Yeah, I think Agathis over here is right, and I think we could also use another $4,000 or $5,000 up front if that's at all possible.
Doc, relax yourself.
I don't want to get into the details right now, Lahayat, but I maybe have a few debts or two that I didn't tell you about before we started this business. Sort of people who like to get paid quickly, and if we can get a little extra money, that might hold them off of our tail a little bit longer.
I can't scare them away.
Well, I'd like to keep my knees.
I'm going to pay off the debt.
The auburn cloaked figure stands up, and as they stand up, you see that they are about 4 feet tall. A rather short
Look at this shorty
dwarf
over here.
With a long beard that cascades down. And he says, make a persuasion roll.
Okay.
Oh, good.
All right. I hope that was to me. That's a 20.
I also sure hope it was to you and not to fucking me. I'll tell you that much.
He sits forward a little bit, standing up, and says, I tell you what, you guys want that extra cash up front. We want guarantees that you can do what we're calling you to do. If you're willing to go through a trial right here, right now, we'll get you that extra money that you're looking for.
I knew it. I knew we were under arrest. I knew it was a trial. I knew it wasn't a job. I told you, Lahayat, I'm not falling for it.
My friend, this is not a trial of jury. He's asking to put us to a test of sorts. Of course, I would hope the test would be accustomed to our skills and not make me, wrestle something. But I would be agreeable to a test of sorts. Yes.
I'd rather wrestle than take a test, personally.
As one, the court says, prove yourselves. And the light in the gallery goes out. The lighting in the area where you were standing slowly coalesces to a point where you can see pretty clearly. And you find yourselves in a large 50-foot diameter circular pit completely surrounded by these 10-foot walls. Immediately across from you, coming out of the podium itself, is this grinding, hulking mass of what looks to be stonework that disengages from the podium. And its roughly humanoid shape is about 8 feet tall, but then it stands up to a 14-foot tall mass, standing on 2 large, powerful legs. Long, thick, trunk-like arms swing up into a mock fighter stance. A single leg, boom, goes down. As that footfall, boom, goes down, a flashing red light seems to emanate from behind what you could see as its torso, and seems to be blinking in time with a small red light that you see in the depression behind it that is left in this podium. And I need the 3 of you to roll initiative.
Okay.
This looks suited for you two. I'll pat you on the back.
I had a -1 for a total of 2.
Agathis has a 20.
Nice.
Right.
So we got Agathis, Lahayat, and Dirk. Okay.
Yeah, Lahayat rolled, what'd you roll again? I just like people to say it.
18.
Gotcha. And Dirk rolled an 11, so I'm not...
11. Yep.
I got caught with my pants down, so to speak, so I'm not really ready for this.
Dirk, pull your pants up. It seems like we're in a little bit of a predicament.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. But hey, I'm wearing that underwear you bought me for Christmas. Does it look good?
It looks wonderful.
All right, I mean, you got great taste.
Mother would be proud.
I don't know why she's always so concerned about our underwear, but you're right. She will be proud.
To give you framework, right now, the three of you are standing basically in line, separated by 10 feet from each other. Lahayat, you are on the far right side. 10 feet away from you is Agathis, and 10 feet further to the left is Dark. Straight across from Agathis is this roughly 14-foot hulking behemoth. And it is standing in a fighting pose 10 feet away. Agathis, you're top of the turn order. What do we do?
Gosh. Let's see. So this thing hears and hate going first because I never know what to do first.
You got a lot of attack opportunities over here as a bard, too. You're definitely who we want right out there in the heat of the battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Sing it a lullaby.
I am going to kind of like roll my eyes and cast Dissonant Whispers
Okay.
on this thing. And so it is needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Strong choice. And it rolled a 3.
A 3, great. And so it's going to take 3d6 psychic damage. And what it, yeah, I'll go through the effects and then give you the flavor.
Okay.
So it's going to take 10 points of psychic damage, and then it must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from you. The creature doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground, such as a fire or pit. On a successful save, the target takes half as much damage and doesn't have to move away. A deafened creature automatically succeeds on the save. And so it takes 10 points of damage and has to move away from me. And Agathis kind of, he like casts the spell, and you hear like him start speaking, and it's like this like whispery tone, and you hear,
I felt a funeral in my brain and mourners to and fro, kept treading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating till I thought my mind was going numb.
and it's like the amalgamation of those whispers hit this creature, this thing.
You don't even see if it has ears, but you can tell the magic as it leaves your mouth, those words echoing through this large room. It connects powerfully, and the entire structure of this thing just kind of starts to shake as it goes in. It had an effect. You can't move until it's turn, but you clearly did something there. All right, Lahayat, or unless there's anything else you want to do, Agathis, we've got movement or any other bonus actions you want to do.
I just step behind these two buddies.
Okay.
I pat them on the back and say, "Go for it, boys."
Okay,
And-
so you've got Lahayat to your right, and you have also
so
then
yeah.
you got Dark to your left. Who are you gonna go
Dark.
for?
The one that's not
Dark.
poopy. I'm going to the not poopy one.
The not poopy one. All right, you moved to Lahayat, so you're gonna go behind him. That's 5, 10, 15 feet of movement, and you're standing behind Lahayat.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
All right, Dark. You've got Lahayat and Agathis to your right. They are about 25 feet away from you.
Is it my turn next? I thought it was Lahayat's turn.
Oh, you know, it is Lahayat's turn.
Yes.
I'm
Thank you.
happy to go if he wants me to. I mean,
I even
he's got
had it
stage
written
fright.
down properly. That's perfect. Okay, so no, Lahayat, excuse me. Pretty much the same thing. You now have Agathis behind you, and 10 feet to your left at a diagonal at about the 10 o'clock is this large construct. Its shifting bulk form is standing there, almost made up of both mosaic and brick, kind of cobbled together like something out of a Lego store. What do you do?
Well, you mentioned that there was a podium behind it with a rhythmic flashing red light, correct?
That is correct. The podium that it came out of is the podium that the court was on, who are now you cannot see because there's no light up there. There's a rhythmic flashing light coming from the back of this golem type structure, and there is a light, almost like a a factory kind of light that is in the wall, in the depression that it left behind, that is blinking seemingly exactly in time with the light coming off the back of this beast.
Is it possible to figure out whether or not this light is like a button of some sort?
You could definitely get there and investigate it, but you'd have to get close to it. Now, this thing is only 5 feet in front of that, so you would have to get very close to it to be able to investigate that light. You could use your action now to do that investigation, but that would take your entire action, and at this distance, you probably would not have a great success at doing so.
So I have in my inventory winged boots that say that I can. How high can I fly with the winged boots to potentially fly over it? Does it have a height limit so I wouldn't be able to go above it?
So you have a flying speed equal to your walking speed.
Yeah.
So, and you can use the boots to fly up to 4 hours. So if you engage in these winged boots, your total speed, you have to pull up your character sheet here.
His walking speed should be 30. So you could theoretically fly 30 feet straight up. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's just.
But then you would not then have that horizontal speed. Now we know that this thing stands 14 feet tall. It's going to have a reach with that. So if you want to get over it, you probably want to get 25 feet over its head. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't give you a lot of excess room, but you could make that move to get towards it and to get up there to investigate if you wanted to. So
just also keep in mind too, Lyot, that maybe you let your brother get up in its fucking grill before you try to get over there and investigate.
Well, that was
buttons.
the initial plan. I was going to fly above it while you capture its attention from the front. Perhaps then I can investigate the flashing light on the back, see what's going on there while you keep its attention.
That sounds good. I don't disapprove. Just make sure Mr. Jiff over here doesn't get hurt by it if you leave him alone.
It's pronounced GIF, my friend. GIF.
Ah, sorry about that. Well, we'll get that. I'll get that taken care of. I'll fix that in a GIF over here on my notes. Fast.
So, Lyot, you guys.
That's a good point. I would maybe want to avoid leaving you all by yourself because you went behind me to cover, didn't you?
Oh no, I'm good old chap.
Well, in that case, if I can use those winged boots to go up about 25 feet that you mentioned, am I able to both move up and then go forward to try and just make some,
If you go up 25, you'd have 5 feet left that you could move forward, unless you want to take the dash action, and then you just can't attack on this turn.
If you did that and you took the dash action, you could get over the light, but you would now be there, but 25 feet over it.
Okay, so then I'd have to essentially wait another turn to be able to maybe descend, hopefully.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Okay. So as we watch your character, Hyatt springs into the air, almost would be like a Superman jump up. Like how would he jump into the air?
I think, he'd lean down close to the ground, one knee on the ground, prepare himself as the dust, I assume, from the ground all around us are circling around him. And then in one nice little fell swoop up in the air, one fist straight up, and does one big old jump with the remaining stuff all kind of following along with me a little bit.
Fantastic. And I get this, you're coated in dust from the floor as he falls, shoots ahead of you.
Goodness me.
And he's able to leap up and over at this graceful arc, ending up over this flashing light that is in the wall in the podium, but 25 feet over. As you swing over, the conversation that you guys had about what to do, the stone construct has actually taken a couple of steps during this and because he had to move away from Agathis, he is now moving in a counterclockwise motion 10 feet away from where he was because you guys took so long talking about it. So it's still going to be anything else you want to do on your turn?
Let's see. So they went counterclockwise away, kind of back towards the.
So if you're facing forward and thinking of like a clock, if you will, he would have been at basically midnight, and he's moved now closer to 10 o'clock, which actually puts him within 5 feet of dark.
I see. Okay. Doc, the plan seems to be going well.
Yeah, I think so, too. It looks like he's coming over at me, so he must have heard us. I don't know.
What more can I do here? I still have a...
The bonus action,
bonus
you can
action.
potentially take it.
Not at the moment, it looks like.
Yeah, I concur with that, looking at your bonus actions. But hey, that's good movement, and between what Agatha said, the construct has shifted over. Dark, you've now got this 14-foot behemoth that is more or less rushing your direction. You are now within 5 feet of it. What do you do?
Okay, it's right up on me, within 5 feet. Okay, I'm like, oh, buddy, hold on. And I reach down like I'm trying to pull up my pants, and then I swing at its legs to try to trip it on a hit here.
Okay.
While it's coming at me.
Make an attack roll, sir.
Hell yeah, let's make an attack roll with the old crippler. Oh, you gotta love when the first attack roll out of the gate is a nat 1. It's feeling good about that. That's a 10 to hit.
That hits, as this
Oh,
is
shit, it
a
hits.
large topic.
Good.
It's a large target.
All right. Well, I'm gonna also then probably shouldn't, but I'm doing this as a trip attack, a maneuver specifically for a trip attack. So
Okay.
It needs to make a DC 16 Strength saving throw.
Well, it rolled a 1.
Good.
Baby.
So, you trip this giant, and I need you to make a dex save as it is coming towards your face.
Sounds beautiful. Go ahead and hit that.
I need you.
Oh.
It's going to be a DC 10 dex save here.
Guess what? I failed it, so that's fine. I got a 7.
All right. So as this thing comes down, you are going to take. Let me get my dice here. The entire weight of this thing, which is about 500 pounds, it comes down. You're going to
Pretty
take
strong.
8 points of bludgeoning damage as it crashes to the ground. Dust coming up around it. You were able to just get out as it comes crashing down against you and kind of pushes you off to the side. So you maintain your feet. You are now standing next to it. It is now tripped and laying prone.
Great. And I did, just to be clear, I did a 14 slashing damage.
Okay.
Right there, too.
Perfect. And that is magical, yes?
Yeah, because that's with the crippler here. So-
That's perfect.
which means
Excellent.
technically, by the rules you gave me for this thing, now you have to have it do a DC 14 Constitution saving throw.
That's
as well.
exactly correct.
But no matter what, it has lost 10 feet of movement because it's the first time I've done slashing damage this turn. With the
All
slashing.
right. And it rolled a 6 for its Constitution save.
Well, you'll love to see that. Now it's down to another 5 feet of movement right there, down on the ground. And did we decide? Oh, yeah, I also get a D4 necrotic damage with
Yep,
that.
give me
too, so we'll go ahead and hit
D4
it with that.
necrotic.
Bada boom. 3 necrotic.
You're doing wonderful
damage.
down there, Doc.
No big deal. Now that it's down on the ground, I'm like, oh, geez, I'm so sorry about
Dust
that,
yourself off.
buddy. And then I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna try to hit it again in the
Okay.
face.
Now,
while it's down there.
I want to clarify the way it fell.
Yeah.
It basically fell face first. So
Okay.
now laying down, it's got this in the back of this blinking light that is very bright on the back of it. That still is sinking
Well,
the
then
light.
I guess I would
that
probably
is-
try to hit the blinking light that's staring at me if I can see a blinking light. So
Okay.
let's take a
All right,
swing at
he's-
that.
It is laying on its face, so you have advantage on the attack roll.
That's what we like to hear.
I don't know.
Let's see. Well, we're gonna hit it no matter what, but maybe we'll get lucky and get a crit. We won't. Jesus. I've rolled a 5 and a 2, but that's 14 to hit. So
That does hit, but you're gonna hit the mast, but you did not hit the
yeah, that's
light.
fine. I should also specify immediately after I hit a creature with a melee attack, I'd also like to turn this into a grappling strike. To try to grapple it while it's down on the ground.
This
To hold it
humongous
down
freaking
on the ground.
This
Yeah.
is going to be challenging to grapple.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway.
That's fair.
I can expend 1 spirit to try to grapple the target as a bonus action, and I get to add the superiority die to my athletics check as well.
Okay.
So let's try to grapple it real quick. My athletics. was a 24 total for my athletics check.
Okay. So you wrap, and because it is so large, you're able to basically grapple its right leg.
Yeah.
So you have its right leg. You are absolutely
You've got that
grappling
leg.
its right leg.
Hell yeah. I'm
You
holding
got
on
it
to
good.
it. I've got it in the ankle lock like I'm Kurt Angle over here, and I'm just not letting go. Don't worry, I got him. You take a look at that button, buddy. I think he's locked down here.
All right. Anything else you want to do?
No,
your-
I think that's about all I got right now.
Okay. As it's the top of its turn, it's going to go ahead and use its layer action. I need all of you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh
All
boy.
right.
This would be a DC 12.
Ooh, how about an 8? Does that beat
Good.
a 12? How does an 8 do?
Dirk over here. I'm full of Constitution. I got a 21.
Yes, you did.
Ooh, as twins, also got a 21.
Okay.
We share everything.
those
We're so in sync. You can tell. We're identical.
The twins, you take no other reaction than your ears are ringing as this loud roar comes from the downed construct, and it is pushing itself up. As it pushes itself up and it roars, for you, Agathis, you are going to take, it is 9 points of psychic as it just coming out so loud. And it's pushing itself up. Go ahead and give me a contested strength here again. Dark
Me?
as is.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dirk.
Dark, yeah.
Dark.
How much movement
Remember,
does
you
this thing
straddle.
have, by the way? Just so we're all clear. It has to.
Right now, it only has 25 feet of movement because you have limited
Okay.
its.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Just making sure that it actually can get up. Contested strength, you said?
Yep.
Okay. All right, how does a 27 sound?
Yep. It is contested, so it uses every amount of its strength with no movement speed to get to one knee. Because you're still like on its other leg. So it's able to push itself up with one arm. It slams the ground with all of its might. And it is just doing a slam attack right in there. And it is going to be trying to reach back to hit at you. And it's going to be rolling with disadvantage trying to get back at you with where you're on its leg. And it's going to be a 15 to hit.
That will not hit.
Okay. So it slams, and as it hits the ground near where you are, you can see this depression, like the ground goes down as it hits it. But that's all it does. And we are going to go back to the top of the turn order, Agathis.
Cool. Can I get behind it so I can have advantage on his light?
So to get behind it, you've got, let me count here. 1, 2. You have a 25 feet to get behind it. Do you have?
I
so you
have
have
30 feet.
You can absolutely get behind it, as it is in this lock grapple with Dark. It's kind of on the one knee. Dark's on his leg, so you were able to come up behind it. He can't see you. You've got this big blinking red light in the back of it there.
Okay, good. I'm gonna kind of walk around it and just yell to Dirk, good man, keep a good hold of that leg, and then give him bardic inspiration. So you have a 1d8 right now, and then now boys, I walk around to the back. I just say, this reminds me of a good poem. Do not go gentle into that good night, boys. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And I take out this gun from my hand, and from my side. And this gun is a fancy looking gun. It's got like chains that engraved on the sides, wrapped around it. And it has 2 hammers on the top that are like short stubs, almost look like tiny little ears. So if you squint your eyes real hard, it almost looks like the head of a GIF, like this gun does. And he points it to the light on the back of this thing and fires the gun, and with advantage, I would hope, right? Because I got behind
Absolutely,
it.
because you're behind it, and it's also grappled, so you would have advantage.
And that's a 21 to hit.
All right, that
And,
hits.
It will do 8 piercing, plus I'm going to add my astral spark as a GIF. I can add 3 force damage to that. So I'm going to add 11 points of damage as I fire that gun and just wham! It like fires hard and like shoots and hits the back of this light.
As that mass ejects from your pistol, smashes into this flashing light in the back of it, the light cracks and this burst of red energy just emanates like a static shock coming out of the back of it. The light on the wall over by Lahayat bursts at the same time, and this red energy rushes together. It coalesces in this field, and the construct dissolves into fine particle mist and whoosh, goes back into the wall. The lights flicker back on. Dark, you find yourself almost in like the fetal position because you're on the ground, like grappling the legs. So you're laying there, like in a fetal position. You've got Agathis. Your gun is still kind of pointing back where the back of this construct was, and Lahayat, you are still floating right over the court as they are all kind of golf clapping and motioning towards you three to present yourselves.
I brush my shirt off, and I assume that we've passed your trial. Now I can't speak for the others, but I did take a bit of injuries from this. I assume someone in here has some healing capabilities. I wouldn't mind being restored to my proper health.
The dwarf that you had seen up there wearing the maroon robes sits down in a bit of a huff and says, "The page will get you on your way out." And then he just sits his arm back and kind of slouches in a bit of a fuss over that. The young elf lady in the midnight black looks around and says, "Are we all in agreement?"
Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah.
After our wondrous performance.
They all nod in assent. It was 6,000 gold that you had requested, with
yes,
a
ma'am.
reduction in the total of to 16.
Yeah, 6,000 up front for all of us. Yeah.
She looks at you and smiles, but does not agree. What questions do you have about your task as we have laid it out?
Many questions. Is there a meeting that we'll be joining? Is there a meeting that I'll be adjudicating or providing as a
Person that does the thing. What is the thing when you sit?
Mediator?
Mediator, yes. Agathis has more of a silver tongue than I do, of course.
Yeah.
Will it be a mediator for such meeting? Is this the plan?
We need this trade route restored. We either need the Silver Peak and the Frostfang to come to some kind of agreement so that there are no more hostilities, or we need to make sure that there are no more hostilities. How this happens, we don't need to know other than we need the results, which is why you are being paid as you are being paid. Now, in 14 days, the Frostfang clan has agreed to meet with the Silver Peak leadership. You need to be there in one way or another to make sure that it goes our way.
Wonderful. And the gang has been stealing has been disrupting the trade lines between us and the Silver Peak.
They have been blockading any air, land, or sea commerce. They have threatened to bring down airships. They have been blockading the port with some devious means, and they already control the land routes. It is becoming completely unbearable.
And this is the Silver Peak, some of the descendants of Lord Calmine Ironheart, you might say.
It is. Silver Peak, as you know, is a a large agricultural cooperative. They've been in operation for many hundreds of years. Currently, the Silver Peak is under the main leadership of Lord Cedric Ironheart, but there's Lady Arya Thistledown and Foreman Stonehammer, who are part of that governing body, but Cedric Ironheart is the main leader.
Thank you. I have no further questions. My colleagues, do you have any questions yourselves?
Well,
Just
I
where-
believe we are.
Oh, you go ahead,
go,
Light.
what?
No, you go.
No, I
insist.
insist.
How
No.
about the young Asimar? How about you lead first here?
Well, we're here to do a job, and as my brother would say, we're gonna do a damn good job.
Fuck yeah, I would. That's right. That's what I like to hear out of him. I was just gonna ask where your head actually is because I got about half of the job done before you called me up here, and that big ass slam that he just did kind of shook some stuff loose. So if we're done, if we're wrapping this up, I just would like to know.
Light shines on all three of you as you've been gathered together. Everything outside is like a flashbang. You're blinded except for this light, and you feel the ground lowering underneath you. As you look up, an iris over the top of you seals shut. As you descend, the light slowly fades, and you find yourselves facing like the back of an elevator shaft where you were standing, and you turn, and there in front of you is a very courtly room with a thick red carpet slowly descending down a series of stairs. You can see a pair of doors with guards there. There is a young female fire genasi standing at attention. She's wearing the livery of Neverwinter, tongues of fire slowly dancing in kind of a pixel haircut, serving as her hair. She smiles at you and is holding a tray, a silver tray that has 3 envelopes on it, each one bearing your name. And she smiles at you.
Well, I suppose we take our first few steps here to go and retrieve our envelopes with our names to read them out loud.
Yeah, I'll read mine out loud for sure. Yeah.
You sure you know how to read, though,
Of
dog?
course I
know
what
we
are you
have to.
talking about? I went to the same school as you did. Just because I was in the remedial class doesn't mean I don't know how to read.
Agathis is not agreeing to read anything out loud. He will be grabbing his
Well, I suppose if we want to keep it to ourselves, we can do that as well.
Well, you and me don't need to keep secrets.
As you step forward, the genasi has a name tag on her left breast.
I wasn't staring, I promise, but I can't help but notice your name. Sorry, what is that? I'm trying to read it.
Tell you what, make an intelligence check.
Well, that's
Can
just
you
weird.
read, my friend?
I can read. Here we go. Where?
It's
Are
not
you
a high
distracted
DC.
by the cleavage?
Yeah.
Distracted by the
Was this
flames.
investigation? I guess.
That's fine.
Flames
Yeah,
are casting a
investigation's fine.
flare
They're the same
upon the
thing.
armor.
Right.
A 6. So I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good.
You sound out the letters SPARK.
Spark. That's a beautiful name. I can't help but notice you're a fire genasi. I'm a tiefling. Some people say I'm born to live in fire. That's all I'm saying. Maybe we could create a couple sparks together.
She leans in, the sweet smile never leaving her face, and she says, "The last person who pulled a line like that on me really got burned."
All right, just
I-
say it. No, that's all you gotta say. Hey, some people can't take a compliment these days. And I just grab my envelope and
Her polite smile has not changed.
she's stuck up.
You, Dark, you grab your envelope. Lahayat, I presume you grab yours as well. And then, Agathis, as you step forward and you reach for your envelope, she looks at you and says, "The court asked me to give you one more thing." And she kisses her hand and blows it, and the little kind of cartoonish flame lips come out and smack you on the side of your cheek. And as that hits you, your hit points are restored.
Oh my.
Oh, well. My lady.
What the hell is this shit?
Thank
I'm
you.
the only one who got hit.
I heard you're equipped to my friend here. You certainly have a way with words. And thank you. I appreciate the help.
I have been asked to make sure that you have no other questions, or if you needed to be pointed towards someplace for supplies or directions if you've not been to the Sky Tower. Any concerns before you head out into the night?
The only equipment I would appreciate is to make sure my firearm, should I need it, would have plenty of ammunition. But otherwise, I have no need for extra equipment. I have a bag that will be at the ready with all of my clothing and whatnot.
She nods to you and looks both at Lahayat and then at Dark. Any concerns, any questions before you leave?
Suppose I huddle up a little bit there with Dirk for a moment.
Huddle up. What's up?
We need to make sure we are on our best behavior for this mission. Do you understand?
Absolutely. I mean, I've only said fuck like 3 or 4 times, I'm pretty sure. So I
Wonderful,
think,
wonderful. That's far less than normal. You're doing fantastic. Do we need any supplies before we head out?
I mean, I don't know. First of all, it looked like she was attacking him for a second, so I feel like that we maybe should have done something when she was blowing that fire kiss at him, but he didn't seem upset, so I think that's fine. I don't ask her if she's got like some healing potions or something. I don't want to be a diva, but you know, the big ass rock monster did slam me while I was holding it.
No, I understand. It's quite a good question to ask. That's quite a good question to ask. I will go do that.
Excellent. Yeah. She doesn't seem to like me very much. I don't know why. Prejudice.
All right. I guess I go and I'll ask her if she happens to have any, I guess, supplies on her that we can either take or buy, or the directions to the supplies so we can maybe prepare ourselves. You know, just a couple more things we might need for this that we might not already have on hand.
No, I only have what you see, but along the way to the Sky Tower, you will have to walk right by Forge Flame's arsenal, and I will make sure that she is open for you.
Now, do we get some sort of discount, or?
I believe you have everything you need, and she points to your individual envelopes.
All right, I'll take that as a no.
Told you she was stuck up.
All right. You have your envelopes. You are welcome to proceed on with whatever you prefer.
I start ripping my envelope open. I want to know what the hell's in it.
You
same.
rip it open, and the contents you see, instead of the offered 1,000 gold, because of the Silver Tongue negotiations, you count that there are 20 100 gold bills. So you have that, Dark, and Lahayat, if you check your envelope, it is the same.
What is an Agathus's? He opened his with a little. If he has a, actually, I don't know if he has a little knife or letter opener on him, but he opens it.
You need help? I pull like a really bloody, gross dagger. I'm like, you need some help opening
my
that
friend.
over
No,
there?
my friend. I can manage here.
And he opens it.
Are you doing it discreetly at all?
Yes. If I can see that there's something in there that needs to be like read, I have watched them open and like flaunt their money, and so if I can open it and see bills inside, I won't take it out and like count it right away. But
You open it and at a glance can tell that there are more bills than you would expect for it being the 2,000 gold that you had been originally offered.
okay, great. I stuff it in my pouch, in my pocket, in my suit pocket on the inside.
You all step down the red carpeted stairs out through the double doors, the guards on either side motionless as you go through, into the night air, and the air is kind of acrid with that dense kind of smoke texture and feel while the air is getting cool around you. The courtyard and then the streets beyond are well lit, although pale, and sometimes the lights are blinking a little bit as you step into the street. You can see without any difficulty, because this is absolutely the tallest building, even taller than the Neverwinter Castle itself, the skyport kind of looming in the distance, about a mile away from where you are currently standing. And you have been told, and most of you would know, having been to Neverwinter before, that the Forge Flames Arcane Arsenal is a fairly well-known place for purveying supplies of all nature. If that is where you wish to proceed, we can go there, or you may proceed on to the Skyport. It is your decision.
Good for Skyport. You guys.
Oh, I mean, we got hired for a job to, fight some guys. I brought my stuff to fight guys with me. So it's
Suppose we already came with what we need for this, and we can probably skip the extra supplies.
Yeah, but I know a guy who can fake us a receipt so we can get him to reimburse us for stuff we didn't buy later if you want.
As you move, do you hail a cab? Do you walk? How would your trio of fairly familiar group go about?
I would hail the fanciest looking cab I can see.
Give me a charisma roll. This should be
Okay.
pretty good given your character.
Yeah.
Just a charisma roll. Let's get a good roll here. 16.
Okay. Pulling up with a backfire is one of the newer, more modern makeshift arcane electrical combination vehicles. It sits there vibrating. The person in the front steering it has this mask over their face and a very fancy, elegant top hat overhead. Waves you on board and looking at you in a very deep voice. Where are you headed?
The Skyport, my friend. Just me and my two companions here.
3 silver.
Okay, wonderful. We'll take it.
And so I walk up to the boys. I turn around.
Was one of you keeping receipts there?
Yeah, I can write that down if you want me to. You want me to write down?
Oh, yes. 7 silvers.
But I give the man his 3 silver.
7 silver. All right, sounds good to me. I like this guy. Yeah. I think we're going to get along.
With a bang and a lurch, quickly you are driven to the Skyport. As you move closer and closer to it, you see it stands an impressive 11 stories tall with cables and hooks and ropes, gears and scaffolding, lifts and like stick searchlights that are completely covering the tower from where it emerges from this single story receiving building. And up at the top, kind of like a flat mushroom, you see this broad deck, and at its tip there are 3 vessels that are moored up there right now. You are quickly escorted in, and with no one there at this hour, you are able to walk past the guards knowing that you'd be coming, and are quickly finding yourselves lifted up to the top of this tower. You pass. As you go up, you see the large cargo vessel that is 2 times longer than anything else that's docked there. Its sails all rolled up, and it has Sincerity Tomorrow stenciled on its hull in large gold letters. On the other side, in a very small berth, is a clipper ship gently bobbing against its tethers. It's got the name The Era on it, and it looks like this personal yacht, probably of somebody who has significant wealth. As this lift comes up, you see this barrier all around the edge to keep people from being blown or from falling off. And you turn, and at the last berth, straining against the mooring ropes, as if it's ready to be set free, lists the double-decked ship, this Obsidian Dawn. Walking towards it, you see that it bears a strong resemblance to a classical frigate, with a couple of different things. On either side of this long ship coming out is a 20-foot wide, 50-foot long wing. And in the middle of this wing that is slightly tipped at an angle, it has a 13-foot diameter globe that is showering blue-green energy from it that intermittently spits sparks out of it. There are 3 large sails located at the fore, the mid, and the aft. And on the sail is a black relief of a sun dawning as it's spreading over this horizon, shooting these black lines out of it. At the fore and the aft of the ship, you see 2 multi-barreled cannons that are silently holding vigil, their business ends pointing upwards towards the sky, hinting at some very violent potential. And walking towards the gangplank, you see on the side of the ship, on either side of the ship, are 2 still propellers that have 6 fins hanging there, ready to go. As you walk up to the gangplank, you see a very tall, very reserved, and cookie cutter crisp young man standing there. He is pressed and lined and starched to the T, standing extremely properly, and he watches you come up, looking at you each intently as you approach the gangplank.
My good man, what a beautiful, fine ship you have. My name is Agathis Gloss, and these are my companions. We've been hired by the court of doves and daggers to be a part of this ship.
He looks at you, stands up, clicks his heels together. Welcome aboard, First Mate Zephyr Stormrider at your service. His skin faintly blue tinged, pale to blue. His hair constantly waving as if it's always being blown by air currents.
I've never met a man so suited to be on a ship, on a sky ship of that sort, name included. Thank you. Will we be making our way to our quarters?
He ushers you up the gangplank and says, "We are ready to make off. We will take you to your quarters, or if you prefer, you could meet with the captain, or you could wait till the morrow. It is certainly up to you. We do have the VIP quarters available."
We're staying in the VIP quarters, huh? Very important people. Must have heard of Twin Oath security. That must be for us.
I assume the VIP quarters are for all of us, of course.
He does look at you, and yes, they are for both, and he failed his knowledge check, so he has never heard of Twin Oak Securities.
Well, that name's pending too, but I'll give you a card anyway, and I have a card here where I had this made before we chose the name. It says Assling Unlimited on it. The card that I hand him, we decided that it wasn't reading as Sling for defense like we were going for, so we're going for Twin Oath instead. But remember Twin Oath, not Assling when you think of us. All right.
He looks at the card, and given that he has very keen senses, would he get any odd odors off of it or anything like that, or would it be?
I think it's fine. I'm not totally disgusting at all times, keeping our business cards pristine. They're in my clean pocket.
Got him in a little Ziploc bag.
Freshly printed.
Yeah.
And he looks to you. You see a couple of crew go walking by, and you notice they're all wearing the same sort of uniform, khaki-colored, looks like leather-type pants with black long-sleeve shirts. Over those, they all have this, looks like studded leather vest and a backpack that they are wearing. They also have 2 ropes attached to their vest with these metal clips on either end as they go walking by.
Now, what exactly are those ropes and clips for? Because we're not going to be on the outside of the ship when it's in the air or anything like that, right? Because I'm just saying, some of us don't necessarily love to be up in the air to begin with. So if we could not go up, out there, that'd be good.
Mr. Zephyr looks at you, and he stares at you intently. He puts an arm on your shoulder in a kind of fatherly pose, and he says, "My good man, you do understand this is a sky ship."
I understand that it's got the word sky in it, but, how high up into the sky are we talking?
He smiles, and he says, "All the way. Now, may I show you to your quarters, or do you wish to see the captain? In either way, we will be underway very shortly."
I'm fairly fatigued. I'm okay with going to my quarters, and I would be okay. If the captain wishes to speak with me, I would be absolutely willing to do so.
First thing in the morning, then. And as he takes you, he shows you down, and he points various directions. This way to the cargo hold. Down there is our engine and arcane room. We do have a small brig, which I'm hoping we'll not need. And he looks closely at Lahayat, and then he really looks long at Dark. as he says these things.
Prejudice. There it is, every time.
He points down the opposite direction and says, crew quarters, mess hall is in between. And up this direction, he points towards the head of the ship. He says, the captain's quarters, and on either side here are the VIP quarters and my own. So as he walks in, he opens the door. So if you look at this, dead ahead of you would be the captain's quarters. Either side of the hall would be VIP room 1, VIP room 2, and then behind it is another VIP room and then the first mate's quarters.
Okay.
So he puts Lahayat and Dark. He looks at the two of you and he goes, 1 room or 2?
I mean, with 2 people, so 2 rooms is fine. Don't make it. What are you being weird about it for?
You are together, I do not judge. 2 rooms.
At least he saw the family resemblance between us, Lyot. Most people miss it.
He's gonna put Dark. He'll put you across from the room that Agathis is going in, and then Lahayat, you'll be in the room across from the first mate.
Sounds wonderful.
So as you're shown to your rooms, they're very, very nice. They are clearly reserved for distinguished guests and officials. They exude a fine level of opulence, more so than you would expect, and they are elegantly furnished. There is a little bit of actually a climate control in there. There's a nice little steam coming out, and you are surprised to see that each of them has a head. When you lift the lid to the head, however, you also see that it seems to just go down.
I don't like that at all.
Doc, you'll be quite fine, trust me. If you happen to fall, I'll just hop right over and catch you.
Why
with
would
these
you even
winged
say the
boots.
word fall? Let's not even put it out there, because that's not going to happen, obviously. So
I just want you to know that you have assurance in case something goes wrong.
good to know. Thank you. Hopefully I will not need it. I prefer to keep my feet firmly on the ground, or at least the metal that is in the air.
Well, I should hope so too, but you know what happened last time.
Oh yeah. Well, we're not using it. We don't have any more scrolls of resurrection, so we're not using another one of those. All right.
A soft whistle sounds through the entire vessel, and it sounds less like you were hearing it carried by sound waves down the hall, almost like it was being directly ported into each one of your rooms. After a moment, a vibration goes through the vessel, and you suddenly get the distinct feeling of, that feeling you get as you go over a hill too quickly, that kind of yawning sensation in your stomach. It happens pretty intently, and you feel slightly pulled down to the floor for a moment, and then it eases up. There are curtains closed in each of your rooms. The doors are shut. The night is yours. It is up to you what you do next.
Dirk's going to sleep, and he's not opening those curtains. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
I'll open the curtain. Agathis will open the curtains and gaze upon the land. And his plan would be to go to sleep. He is tired.
Moving faster than you think you would be already, you gaze out across this landscape that has been marred by years of wars and regrowth and wars again, that is very quickly descending below you as the ship gains altitude and is moving fast through the night sky. It is only now just pushing past 8 o'clock, and at this time you can tell they're already making the roughly 1,200 mile journey to get you to the tip of Cormer on the most eastern part of the Swords Coast. The night draws to a close as each of you finds a comfortable place to bed down in a very nice room, and the light fades.
Is Lahayat within 30 feet of us?
These rooms are pretty close. They're nice and comfortable quarters, but they are certainly tight like you would expect in a ship. So yeah, he would be probably within about 20 feet of you.
Okay, how soundproof is it?
Because he's got I just am asking, 'cause you've got a weapon, he's got a bow of warning, so anyone within 30 feet of him can't be surprised.
Okay. That's perfect. So it is relatively quiet, as quiet as you can imagine, but there are vibrations. You can hear On occasion, people walking on the deck above, you can hear the sounds of steam escaping. You hear the zzzz, zzzz, zzzz of like arcane noises and things from time to time. So it's not quiet all the way, but it's certainly not as loud as being like in one of the industrial factories that have been springing up across the land. The night passes. There's nobody sneaking. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning when you hear a large ruckus coming from the deck. It sounds like 5-6 voices yelling, and the sound of something heavy being drugged or dropped. Something is going on.
Agathis is gonna make sure he looks real nice and good, and he's gonna go up to the deck. He's not gonna.
Where do you think you're going, buddy? Without your guards, you can't just be wandering off.
Oh yes, of course. Yes.
Without us.
One moment to throw on my armor, please.
Oh my gosh! You had to get the gleaming set, not the doffing set like me. It takes him forever to put this thing off and on.
It was well fitted.
Yeah, it looks great. You look great. It's fine.
Take a stumbling moment to throw on my stuff before running outside the door to try
As
and
we're
catch up
going,
with
I'm
them.
helping
Hold on my
strap
stuff,
your
yeah.
back as
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going, like zipping up a dress. Yeah.
As you go into the hall, the noises are clearly getting louder, and at the backside of the hall is the stair that goes up to the upper deck. You hear some voices shouting, and sounds like a lot of wind at the same time as you approach that area. Stepping out onto the deck, you're greeted by brilliant early morning sunlight, and notice that the decks below had to have been heated because it is very chilly. As you look over the side, you would for a moment think that you were actually on a regular sailing vessel, but then you recognize that the rolling waves are actually banks of clouds, as you are easily 7,000 to 10,000 feet off the ground. You can't tell exactly. You are moving at a very fast clip. The large sails billowed in full force. The propellers silent on either side, not needing it. And you see at a glance at the back of the ship, looks like a female with a captain's hat on, resolutely holding the wheel and basically ignoring the crowd of crew that is angrily yelling at something in the midst of them.
Hey, boys, I think there's a fight going on over here. I'm gonna forget that I'm afraid for a minute. I want to see the fight.
As you walk, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is the ship's currently moving, correct?
Ship is currently moving, and it's moving pretty fast.
So can
Yeah.
I not use, again, the winged boots, maybe get a little bit of height to kind of peer over to see what's happening in the crowd? Or because we're on this moving ship, if I try doing that, I'm just going to go flying back, essentially?
I will use some fantasy rules here and say that when you jump up because you are moving, you're going to maintain that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, if this wind isn't strong enough that it's blasting us off of the ship standing here,
Okay,
it probably
well,
isn't
sure.
that forceful that it would kill your forward inertia or whatever.
All right, well, I'm a little curious here to see what's what the scuffle on the board is. So I, try to get a little bit closer, but using the boots, I'd like to see, peek above and hear from above to see what's
How
going
much
on in the
higher
center of
would you
this
try to be
group.
getting over that? You're like 5-10 feet just so you can see over everyone's shoulders, look down?
Probably just enough, yeah, about 10 feet or so.
Okay.
Hopefully to see above everybody else.
So you get across this crew, and there is a circle of 5 people, and then in the middle of the circle you see 2 people, a large half-orc who looks just ripped as all get out. You can see his muscles just popping through that black shirt, and on the other side you see a bronze-faced dwarf just again has the other arm of what looks to be, well, Maz, what do you look like?
this seems like the perfect opportunity to introduce our fourth player in the tavern tonight.
What?
Here, because Dr. Lupo won't return our phone calls, we have Fallout. Welcome, Fallout.
Thank you very much for having me.
How are you? How are you this evening? And who are you going to be playing?
I'm good. Thank you. The check finally cleared for me showing up here. The 350. So I am playing Maz Gray. That is my character name. Human with clean shaven, no facial hair. About 5'11" with plain light brown hair and common clothing. And Ryan, am I good to leave it at that?
Absolutely. You can share as much as you want.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Perfect.
Interesting. Suspicious.
As you are looking at this scene, Lahayat, the first mate has walked up and says, "And how do you plead?" Looking sternly at Maz. Maz, you've been here for several minutes and have been drugged out of the cargo hold where you had been quietly minding your own business. You have been accused of being a stowaway, and there have been some other things that have insulted not only yourself, the level of breeding of your mother, and also implications about things with pigs. None of it very pretty. But you have the first mate standing there, looking pristine, hands behind him, thoroughly unruffled. What do you have to say for yourself? Shall I let them throw you to the wind?
I'll kind of stand up and... Am I able to kind of stand up? Or is someone holding me, or am I just kind of standing? Like
You are kind of half crouched. You've got either of your arms are being held. You could stand up a little straighter if you wish to do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Say, I'd like to plead that this is harassment. None of this is okay. I simply got turned around trying to find the bar, as I've explained before, and this is really all just a ruckus for nothing.
Well, I'll leave it to you. You want to roll deception or persuasion?
I will roll, I think they're both the same for me.
Okay.
I will do persuasion.
Fantastic.
And when he asks that, he probably doesn't have to. He's saying you don't have to tell him, probably, if you're rolling persuasion or deception.
I'm not sure if it's showing up in the thing.
I got
but
it. Yep.
Says
yeah, 13.
Okay.
Excellent. So the crew kind of chuckles a little bit, and the very gruff-looking half-orc says, "You want to see what we do to people who stow away?" And they quickly bring you to the side of the ship. Now, there is about a 4-foot railing that is solid all around the ship, with another foot off of that of an actually iron bar that gives people something to hold on to. And you are pressed against it. At first, it hits you lower abdomen, kind of takes your breath away, and you kind of bend over it. And then you are looking out across the escape as the wave-like clouds are going by. Do you want to tell us what you're really doing here? Give me a perception roll.
I like the idea that we bring Fallout in an hour and a half in, and then we throw him off the ship.
Yeah, he just
and
dies.
We never see him.
How come? Oh, there we go. That would be a 12 total. Okay, we'll take that.
Your mind is reeling. You recognize at the moment things are not quite going the way you had planned. As you're looking for the words and your mind is coming up with certain schemes that you know have worked for you in the past, you notice something in the distance. It is red, and it's moving at the ship pretty quickly because it's catching up. As you are looking at it and you are hearing these people talking about you and starting to demand you to answer, you get that, that sinking feeling in your stomach, kind of that oh crap moment. As this red dot starts to resolve itself a little bit, you see what appears to be a red reptilian form. Wings that are kind of cocked at like the static angle, coming fast at
I think
you.
there's a strong chance of fireballs, my friends.
Things seem to be getting a little heated here.
You watch as the dawn light glistens off of these red bronze scales the size of shields as this object comes towards you and the Obsidian Dawn. So far, everyone is looking at you. You are the only one who's looking at the horizon.
Not to break up this execution with no trial, but does anyone notice what that is? Gesturing towards the object fast approaching.
Make a persuasion roll, because you're going to try to get them to look like the haha made you look.
Sure.
Like, we're gonna fall for that one.
Ooh,
but-
baby. Let's go. Yeah. That'd be a 21 total.
21. So you had heard defiance in his voice. Now, something about the complete change of his tone does make people all turn to look. And as you look from the back of this dragon, 1, 2, 3, 6 smaller little reptilian forms come off its back and start making a beeline towards Obsidian Dawn. It's an inverted V with the smaller winged creatures going towards Obsidian Dawn and the larger one forming the back part of the V. The crew starts to shout.
Below deck, below deck, below deck. Should we all go below deck? Should we all get off of the part of the deck where they're gonna land? Below deck?
Oh, good lord, are those dragons?
Roll perception.
Okay, I'll roll
Majestic
perception.
creatures.
A 20.
Okay. You blink. It does look like dragons. But for a moment there, the visual changed. For a moment there, it looked like another vessel. And now you're seeing dragons again.
Boys, this may not be what it seems. There's possibly another vessel. We're possibly under attack by, not dragons, but I'm not sure.
I don't know what kind of school you went to, pal, but I'm looking at dragons flying right at us. They sure as shit ain't birds.
You hear this loud, bassy, boom, and a cannonball comes streaking towards Obsidian Dawn with a nat 20 to hit.
Whoa. Okay.
Snipe the captain with the cannonball right away.
Headshot.
So I got to roll for some damage here.
No.
Oh boy.
Said below deck. I said it many times. What the hell kind of damage is this man rolling? Oh no.
Don't look up cannonballs; they do a lot of damage. So as
boy.
this cannonball comes streaking towards the Obsidian Dawn, it smacks against the plating and does a tremendous amount. It does 23 points of explosive damage right across the whole of the Obsidian Dawn. The alarms are going off. The crew is springing into action. I need you guys to roll some initiative. It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
By the way, Lahayat, you have advantage on initiative rolls, by the way, so you can roll twice and take the higher one.
Oh,
21 on initiative.
I got a 16.
14 for Dirk.
I am glad I can roll twice.
Oh yeah.
What the frick is a B?
That's a nat 20. So
Ah!
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You got a 23.
What's the B?
Sorry, it's
What even is the B?
It's just a giant B.
It is confusing.
That's fantastic.
B for best roll?
Yeah, it's for D&D Beyond. But yeah, it's for best.
For D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
put that together. I just didn't realize it was 20. Anyway,
Okay. So I've got a couple things to roll. So we have Agathis. What did you say you rolled?
Oh, 16.
All right. So as you are looking at out, you've got this vessel, this dragon, this something, as Agathis has called it out, coming in. You've got these what look to be 6 other reptilian shapes that are coming down at you. They are at this moment about 150 to 200 feet away, depending on how they're staggered, and they're streaming towards the side of the Obsidian Dawn. Your locations, I know that Maz, you were basically up against the side of the wall. So there is potentially about 4 feet of cover you could duck behind. The cannonball that struck is over towards the front of the ship, so nobody took any significant damage from that, although there was a little bit of structural damage to the ship. This vessel is 50 feet wide by about 120 feet long. Where would you guys want to be? Everyone was kind of towards the middle of the vessel.
Agathis, wherever you decide is where I will stay, since Lahia decided to do his little floaty up thing he always does. I get stuck watching the body. I'm right next to the body. That's what I do.
If it makes it easier to think about, middle of the ship is kind of marked by that mid sail. You've got a foresail and an aft sail. On either sides of those two sails, at the tip of the ship is one gun. At the aft of the ship is another gun. The captain is standing just in front of the aft sail.
Everything that's coming up towards us is on the side of the railing that Mav is at, correct?
That's correct. And if you want to think of it as just left versus right, just to make it easy, instead of port versus starboard. I know someone's going to hate on me for that, but it's on the right side of the ship that everything's coming up on.
Port and starboard is for water vessels. It actually is just left and right for sky ships. People don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
We'll go with
Fun
it.
fact. Yeah, fun facts.
Beautiful.
People don't know that. Yeah.
Well, the ship is about, you said 50 feet wide, correct?
That's correct.
So how far out are they, remind me?
So right
Because
now,
I do have archery, so if we are attacking, I could get my longbow, get a shot ready as long as it's within the range
You
of
can
that.
probably hit them.
So as the main reptile, the bigger one, is at the peak of the inverted V, and it's roughly
Okay.
200 feet out, and then staggered out from it on either side are 3 smaller dragons.
Okay.
And as you were looking out and trying to sight in on it a little bit, deciding what you're first going to do there, give me a wisdom save.
All right, looks like it hit 10.
Okay. Yep. They're dragons.
All right, well, they were correct about that. Yes. Well, then I guess if we're the dragons, do they have riders on them?
No, there are no riders on these dragons.
There
it
are
looks
no
like
riders.
If knowing the lore and this still being a place where there are dragons, although they are not as common as maybe they once were, these would look like young dragons. They are maybe not even teenagers yet, so only about 5 to 6 feet long, nose to tail. Still relatively formidable, but young dragons nonetheless.
And also, I was just looking, Lahia, to confirm, you did take the sharpshooter feat, which means you have full range on your bow without disadvantage. You can shoot 600 feet without disadvantage.
Oh, beautiful.
To
Okay,
attack,
okay.
so-
All right. Hey, there you go.
Well then, yeah, I suppose I will. Well, might as well open up by readying the longbow I've got on hand and trying to, let's say, strike. You said they're in an inverted V formation, correct?
That's correct.
Great.
So,
Well then, let's. I would say that I'm going to aim my bow and attempt to hit the dragon who is at the far left of that inverted V, at the very tip.
Okay, perfect. So you're going to let loose and try to hit that dragon as it comes swooping in. And it's still at a decent range for most people, but you've got plenty with your bow. So go ahead and make an attack roll, sir.
That's a 19 after all the thing gets addition added.
That's right. So you pull back and you let loose with your bow. It strikes true, hitting center mass on this dragon, and you see it spin a little bit as it gets hit. Roll damage, sir.
Hit a 11.
Correct. So you do 11 damage against this dragon, and as you do, you see that its form morphs and changes.
Oh.
The dragon part kind of shrinks, and you can see its humanoid form. The wings pull back into. It looks like almost like made out of sail material coming off of its back. Still coming at you, still struck true, but now you can see in its arms, It has some kind of large-looking revolver. You're not entirely sure.
It seems that we're being bamboozled here.
And it's still coming. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
Okay, so I can move over to bonus stuff now.
Well, you
correct?
absolutely can shoot again because we're level 5
Oh.
fighters. So you have multi-attack, so you can take 2 shots anytime you take an attack action.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Also, this is just a reminder, with the sharpshooter feat, you can subtract 5 from your to hit in order to then do an additional plus 10 to your damage.
Yes, I remember this from many a long
and
time
that's
ago.
why we also gave you the maneuver, the precision attack, which lets you roll a d8 and add that to your attack roll, so you can basically cancel out the -5 that you had to take.
Well, I'm quite not liking the fact that this so-called dragon, seems to be a human with a revolver. Not liking that, so I'm going to follow what my brother was kind enough to remind me of.
Just giving you a refresher on your many impressive abilities that you have, Lahayat.
Yes, there's just so many. It's hard to remember. I'll go ahead and I guess I'll use that sharpshooter feat with the maneuver ability. So then,
Hell yeah.
how does that all work on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
With
So,
the click? Okay, this is gonna get a little crazy.
it will. You'll roll the hit, and
Yes.
you'll have to subtract 5 from whatever you roll, but then you'll also roll a d8 and add that after you've subtracted the 5. That makes
Wonderful. Okay, so I roll the hit/DC one first.
Yep.
For the bow. Okay. I think that's a 9 for the hit.
So now you can roll a d8.
That is a 5. So I'm back to 14.
Yep. You're shooting the same guy that you had shot to start with?
Yes.
Okay. So you pull back and you let loose a second arrow. And even though he's cartwheeling, you are able to just hit, landing a second shot right on his center mass. So roll damage again.
Yeah. So now what you roll, you get to add a 10 to it.
Oof. 19.
So 19 damage on that shot. Hell.
That is a huge amount of damage as you fire this, and just as that arrow hit, it didn't just hit and stop, it hit and went through, and you see it carrying with it a pulsing mass as it goes out through the back, leaving this trail of blood. And the diving individual that was making a beeline for the Obsidian Dawn is now just kind of going down in circles into the distance below.
Well, I knew those archery classes would come in handy.
Does that break the illusion at all? It dying and falling?
It does on that one.
All right. Well, then I like elbow Agathis. What do you fucking know? Look at that. It is just it's just a guy.
Good.
Good shot.
And I'm thinking, what I thought I saw the big one. I think it might be the vessel, and so maybe these are the attackers, and the vessel is beyond them.
So I just wanted to clarify one thing. We've got Maz, you are kind of up against the railing, and I would have put
Sure.
Lahayat basically up on the railing close to him just to get positioning to be able to fire. And so I've got Maz right now basically off to your right, Lahayat, by about 5 feet away from you. So you're both on the railing facing out right towards this encroaching group of individuals.
So I can see all of this.
You can see all this. You saw these couple of shots go off. You saw them very quickly, very deftly. A practiced professional. 2 arrows going out, launching in. You
Two
see
quick
this.
ones.
Yeah, you see this illusion break as the individual now spiraling out in a death throes as its body spasms, heading towards the ground, eagerly waiting to receive him below. And Lahayat, was there anything else before we move to Maz's turn?
Is there any chance of this, to be able to like hear at that center? I guess the one way at the back to see if there's anything like see through like an illusion, or do you need to have like some kind of?
It'd be an action at this point in time, unless you had a because you spent your action doing
That's
the
fair.
attacks.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Cool. You do have movement. You haven't really used any of that. You could also use your movement to duck behind cover, just something people don't often think about. You do have a 4-foot railing there.
Okay.
So you've already known one cannonball has been let loose, so it might be something you want to do.
Probably a best idea to lower down about 5 feet so I'm right behind it.
Okay, so you now are basically in full cover if you duck behind that. Okay. Maz.
Okay, so I've seen all of this go down.
Yep.
I've seen the illusion flash on the guy who got hit by 2 hard arrows and then went down, right? Okay, can I look around if there's any cover nearby that I can kind of quickly get behind to better shield myself from whatever the hell is going on?
Well, you are already basic up against that railing, and so you already at the side of the ship looking over, so you're at that 4-foot wall that Lahia just dropped behind. But behind you, roughly 15 feet behind you, is the large, about 5-foot diameter mast of the midship that you could also get behind that if you wanted. The rest of the deck is pretty clear. There really aren't any boxes or anything. There are grates in the floor of the deck that could be used to raise and lower things from the cargo decks below, but it looks like they keep the top deck very clear of rigging ropes and boxes because they could be tripping hazards and people don't want to fall. You do also see at the fore and the aft the large ship guns that in real time would be swinging towards these encroaching invaders, for lack of a better term. But they, of course, have not done that yet because of the turn order.
Because of the turn order, yes.
Yes.
They respect the turn order.
They respect the cannons respect the turn order.
That should be a t-shirt. Respect the turn order.
There we go.
Got it. Okay, okay, so because I've seen an illusion flicker on one of the things that got shot,
Yep.
I'm going to really focus my attention on the on whatever the large thing in the background is, because I'm assuming like I'm going to use the rail as cover. I'm just going to kind of take this opportunity to peer over the rail and really inspect.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and what do you have higher, your wisdom or your intelligence? I'm going to give you this opportunity here.
That would be intelligence.
Okay, go ahead and make an intelligence check on this one.
Sure.
Because you're using this, you're trying to go, I'm putting 2 and 2 together here.
22.
Yeah, all right. This time for you, as you're staring at this, the illusion flickers, and with your knowledge of the arcane, it breaks. And what you see is a roughly 55 to 70-ish foot vessel, much smaller than what you are currently on, but not constructed too dissimilarly, with a small main, probably a single deck, with a single sail that is furled up, a single propeller on the back of it furiously spinning, a large series of cannons on either side. You see 2 cannons, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, both of them kind of angled forward as this vessel is making a beeline, presenting the smallest possible firing solution against it as it's coming broadside at the Obsidian Dawn.
Does it have any symbols or markings or anything on it?
As you are looking at it, on its bow, you see the symbol of a flaming skull that might have some actual enchantment still on it, because it does look like it's burning as it is coming at you. Like the face of the skull is stuck in a prolonged stream. And you do see on the deck, there are a couple of crew manning the cannons. You can't see the pilot.
Got it. Okay, and Lahayat is how close to me?
Lahayat is about 5 feet away from you, crouched down behind the railing.
Got it. Okay. I'll also crouch down kind of behind the railing, and I'll turn to Lahayat and say, "Hey, it's not a dragon, it's a ship. I can see there's a symbol on it, a flaming skull. Friends of yours?"
Not quite that I can remember.
Do you want to do anything else? Have any bonus actions you want to take? Any movement you want to take? Yeah, I thought you did crouch down.
I used my action to peep the ship, right? I won't do anything. I'll just, and then I'll go. You're not a bounty hunter, are you?
All right. Next up in the turn order, Agathis.
Agathis is gonna step forward, and he is going to he's gonna cast Dissonant Whispers, and he's gonna use Twin Spell, his sorcery point for Twin Spell, so he can target two creatures with it. So he's gonna target two of the like smaller things flying at him, and so.
Let me look real quick. They may not be in range. Yeah, so they are still, like, this is all happening at a distance. Okay. They are still too far away for that to hit, because right now the closest one to you is just under 100 feet away.
Is he 90 feet away?
Could be 90 feet away.
I mean, you could move
because
closer, right?
Or you could do this. You could wait until he was 90 feet away.
Well, if it's 90 feet away, then I can hit him with my gun. I can shoot him.
Oh, you know what? If you step up to the side, he would be the. We took out the guy who was on basically the right side of the V. He's going down. On the far left side of the V, the same position, is one, and they are 74 feet away from you.
Okay, great. So yeah, I take out that pistol and I aim down the sights, and because I'm a GIF, I can ignore the disadvantage I get at long range, and so it has a 90-foot range, and so I aim and I fire it at one of the guys, and that is going to be 12 to hit.
You fire. You see the shot strike, and as it strikes, you see the illusion dissipate where it hits and bounces off what looks like some kind of chainmail metal armor, and it glances off, so it was just a glancing blow.
Damn it.
So no damage.
All right, and is there anybody manning the cannon on the ship, if I look?
On our ship, on the Obsidian Dawn ship, nobody is manning the cannon yet. You did see that there were two crew members who started towards them, but they haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. I'm gonna look to Dirk and give him some bardic inspiration again, and so. And I just look at him and I say, young Dirk, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And you take a bardic inspiration.
Do I not seem strong? I feel like I look pretty. Am I having an off day? Do I not look strong to you? I mean, come on. But thank you. And thank you for the kind words.
FYI, you could also, because of my subclass or my class or whatever, never mind. If you cast a spell, you can't cast spells, right? So never mind.
I've got a couple spells that I maybe know.
Well, if they do damage or they restore hit points, you can add my D8 to the damage or to the health of that.
That is actually good information, so good to know.
Okay. And that's it. That's Agathis' turn.
Do you want to stay standing behind
Oh, we're not
going to
stand up front. No, I'm going to move back.
Okay, so right now, though I had you positioned to make that shot, you had, to your immediate left was Maz, who is ducked down behind the railing. To his left, 5 feet away, is Lahayat, who's ducked down behind the railing. You're about 5 feet from Maz.
Okay.
You want to move back towards the middle of the
if
ship?
there's cover back there with the mast, then I would hide behind that. If there's not, then I can duck.
Yep. So no, if you were to go 5, 10, 15, it'd be 20 feet to get you behind the mast, and you would have probably about 3/4 cover, because you could have, well, you're pretty big. You might only have half cover if you're hiding
I'm
behind
skinny.
the
I
mast.
just got a big old head.
He specifically said he was
Okay.
svelte with a gigantic head.
Yeah,
I'm
spell
just
for
tall.
a GIF is
I'm not
still
taller
like
than a mast.
250 pounds.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
okay.
It really is. He's still 250. But,
So yeah, you can get. I'll give you 3/4 cover behind that behind that mast there. All right,
take
so
it.
you fall back behind the mast. It leads us to Dark. So you are basically right near the mast where Agathis just fired the shot. You saw it hit, and when you saw it hit this person, because you were watching what he was doing, you saw the same thing where this illusion kind of blurred out for a minute and then went away. You see the guy who's still in the death spirals falling down that Lahayat has killed. You are standing near the mast. You're about 15 feet from the railing of the ship.
I mean, this is the problem. I told Lahayat, I mean, sure, it looks good if one of us really specializes in melee and the other one in archery, but then what do we do in the situation where we need long distance in both spots? So what am I supposed to do? I appreciate this kind words you said to me, but yeah, you really gave it to the wrong brother here, buddy.
You got it for 10
nothing.
minutes. You got it for 10 minutes, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand next to Agathis and ready. If I can ready an attack if somebody gets within like 30 feet of us for a reaction. Yeah.
That's totally cool. Way this is situated, you've got this large 4.5, 5 foot diameter mast. It's a huge mast. So right there, right behind that mast is Agathis trying to get his frame behind that mast for cover. You would stand next to him, exposed, or you stand like? How would you try to stand?
I'm gonna stand. I mean, I'm here to protect him, so I'm not gonna hide behind him. So I'm
Good.
in front of that mast, if anything, to be between him and the things that are coming.
Okay, I would put you then to give him more cover. You would stand like right next to the mast, so
Yeah.
you're
Perfect.
blocking well.
Get him full
All right.
cover,
All right. So
even though he's like a foot and a half taller than me or something. But
Right.
whatever.
Okay, so the Raiders are all rolling in here. So they have their movement. They are going to be moving up. So they're all coming in at a fast clip, and they are approaching. And as they approach, they are all within about 10 to 20 feet of the railing. So they have all come in really, really closely. There are still 5 of them who have come in. Instead of seeing that V formation, they are like a staggered line now as they've been able to come close. And for those who the illusion is still up, you see these gouts of fireballs being shot from the mouths of these dragons. For those who the illusion is broken, you see that they are aiming very, very big, broad, stocky looking pistols. And there are going to be a couple of shots at the crew. All right, cool. And now you see a shot go at crew members, and they are just glancing blows across the deck as the crew is taking cover. And you see many of them are grabbing crossbows or grabbing their own pistols. You see that there are a couple of glancing blows went towards the front gun, and there's one shot that comes out towards you, Dirk, which is going to be a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Right.
Is this? It looks like fire to me. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like fire. You see this fireball. I think what would happen here is like you had just stood there to make sure that Agathis is safe, and as you turn around, you see these dragons come, and there's a fireball, like a Doom level fireball, like one of those the round guys, whoosh, right towards it, and it just smacks you center chest.
But I say to him before it hits, I'm like, don't worry, I've got resistance to fire. It won't be a problem.
As you take the hit, it goes through your shoulder. It's 9 points of piercing damage
What the
as you
hell?
get hit. This is not the first time that you've been hit by bullets in your life.
Yeah.
And as that hits you, the illusion breaks for you.
How close
and
is
you
this
now,
thing?
The thing that just hit you?
Yeah.
Moment. It's not within your range of 30
Are you sure it's
feet
not
up.
within 60 feet?
It's probably within 60
Well, then
feet.
it's going to
Let
get
me
hellish rebuked for
love it.
fucking hitting me. So,
Rebuke.
yeah.
It is going to be, it's within 40 feet.
Boom. Then it's getting hellish rebuked. I point my finger. What the hell, buddy? I'm standing here, and I flip it off when it does it too.
Okay.
It's your hellish review.
All right. So roll damage for that.
It has to make a dexterity saving throw first of all.
All right. Let's.
Which is definitely going to succeed at.
We'll see. How does a 10 hit you?
It actually beats my 9 that it has to make, but it'll still take half damage, right?
Okay.
So it's fine. And hey, look at that. It's gonna take, I guess, only 4 damage, but then I'm gonna add a D8 from my bardic inspiration onto that as well.
Nice.
Because why not do it? So a whopping 7 damage
Hey.
to this thing. With my
Whoa.
hellish
That is
rebuke.
that is more than 0. So
Yeah.
perfect. And you took your 9 points of piercing damage.
Yeah.
And that's their move. You hear this loud and the sound of a sailing cannonball as it comes, and it goes wide over the side of the Obsidian Dawn. Does not hit.
That's good.
That is good. We like that.
And the other vessel for Maz, if you had been able to see it, it comes and now it's presenting a different firing solution. So it is still staying off the bow. You guys see, those who don't see a ship, you see this dragon. It is now about 80 feet off of the bow of the rest of the ship, as these 5 other beings are now only about 20 feet off of the side of it and closing in. And that gets us to the turn of the Obsidian Dawn. That crew is returning fire. You see 3 good hits go across these raiders as illusions start to fall, and the big guns circling up as they start to shoot at this big dragon, scoring good hits on it as it starts to go by. So we're back at the top of the turn order. Lahayat.
All right. Seems like the ranged play is working out so far, taking them out one by one. So I think I will continue in formation, but instead swap maybe over to the other side of that, the V. So probably the closest person to the ship at the moment.
So right now they're all roughly lined up. So there's one that Dark just hellish rebuked. It is one person to the right of the one that's closest to you, actually. So there is one within just a few feet of you. He's actually about 25 feet from you.
All right. Well, given the fact that I can attack twice here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then I probably will, hit the one closest to me, and then follow up with another arrow at the one that Doc just did their attack on. Okay, so the initial roll to hit there looks like it was a 25.
Yeah, that surprisingly hits.
Surprising. And then for damage here, 9.
Okay, perfect. So you do 9 points of damage. You see again that illusion breaks, and you see another black-clad individual with these leathery to fabric kind of wings come off his back with that large gun. And for the second one was
Just trying to make a decision here whether or not I want to continue the second shot on the person nearby, or if Doc, you think it's better to attack the ones manning the cannons.
I don't know if I can even see cannons. I think the illusion of a dragon is still visible to me, so... I don't know if you have the illusion broken for you yet, either. I know it's broken for Fallout.
Well, you got hit by the piercing bullet, right? Did that break it all for you?
It broke it for the marauders, like these flying guys, but it did not break it for the main
Intellectually,
attack.
I think I can understand that there are cannon people, but I can't see them. I don't know if Lahayat can see them to actually shoot at them yet either.
Do I see any who are?
So right now you
towards
still
us?
see the dragon. You actually have to break that
break that
spell,
okay,
yeah, and it either takes specific effort or landing an attack.
I'd probably, I guess, just shoot at keep shooting at the guys that are near us, I suppose, for now.
Sure. Yeah. Then I'll continue with the original plan here. Shoot the one that the Doc was attacking here.
Perfect.
I rolled earlier here. I think it was to hit a 17 and then damage a 9.
Yep. So that hits, and you do another 9 points of damage against it. Still flying, still going at it. Looks pretty messed up though. Definitely bleeding as you hit him with those arrows. Anything else you want to do?
Feel like maybe I should move back a bit, just in case they start getting a little bit too close, so I can still hit him with some range here.
Okay. If you want to move, the only place that you would have easy cover to get behind is the foremast, which is a bit of a distance from you. It is actually 36 feet from you. That's really the only other cover, unless you want to try to get behind the fore gun, but that's about 60 feet from you.
I'm probably gonna go with the foremast then. Probably go as far as I can get, at least so I can maybe get some both protection here, and I also have, the arrow here, so it doesn't really matter technically how farther I get.
Yep. So you got 30 feet of movement. I will get you there. You are actually able to get within 5 feet of getting behind that mast, but you're just going to fall short of it as you are using your speed to get behind that front mast.
Okay.
All right. Lahayat, that is your turn. We're up to Maz.
Okay. Can I just kind of look, not as an action, but just kind of quickly peep which one looks the most fucked up?
Yep. The one that looks the most just totally wrecked was the one that you'd seen Lahayat launch into. It's the one that's actually there's two kind of out at a distance of about 20 feet from you. The one on your left is the one that Lahayat has sunk 2 good arrows in, and they're looking messed.
He's looking really messed.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna stand up from behind the railing, and I'm going to focus and concentrate, mutter a few words, and magic missile that dude.
All right. Roll damage for each one.
Okay. Booyah, booyah, booyah. And not bad. 9.
All right, and that was just a straight D4, but you get to add +1
To each missile.
+1 each missile, yeah, because of the force damage. So
That
that's
would be 12.
Yep, perfect. So 12 in this case was the magic number. So as these
Beautiful.
what do your darts look like as they come out, these magic missiles? What do they look like as they leave your body?
Oh man, here's a question I didn't expect to answer. Are there options of I just feel like it would just kind of look like an arcane blast for each one. I'm not quite sure.
That's all right. Rapid fire, one hand or two, how would you do it?
I'm gonna go one hand here.
One hand rapid fire, coming almost like each one of your fingers. These missiles of pure magical force slam out of you, and you see him impacting this guy. You see his body being rocked by, and the last one just goes right through. And at the angle, not only were they going through it, it also tore through its wing, and it's just falling fast to the ground. You hear the Wilhelm scream as he goes down. Pain and sorrow and anguish in his wake. Anything else you want to do?
So where everyone is,
So
how many people are hiding behind this mast?
okay, right. So the current view here, you are basically standing alone right now. You can
Sure.
look down about 30 feet on either side. There are other crew who are ducked behind the wall of the Obsidian Dawn. Directly behind you is this main midship mast. Just to the right of that, standing out there stoically, is Dark, and behind that mast, obscured by the mast and by Dark, is Agathis. Back behind you to your left, almost reaching the foremast, is Lahayat, and he is basically parallel with it, and he's going to be able to slip behind it with this next movement.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you are kind of alone at the moment,
Right.
but you do have immediate cover behind that wall.
I guess it's a minor action. I'll just duck back down behind the, if that's permitted.
Yeah.
Kind of for cover.
It's
And then
movement.
that'll-
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll probably be it for me.
All right. Perfect. Agathis, you are up, sir.
I got this. How close is the ship? Their ship? The other ship?
Moment from your current position, 125 feet.
Okay.
All right, I should go to leading edge just a moment, depending on what you want to do.
Gosh, I sure
Exact
wish I-
leading edge would be about 110 feet.
Okay. Can I see is there someone manning their cannon on that ship?
You guys have to correct me. I don't think you've pierced that illusion yet.
Oh, I
think
think that I had been convinced of it, but yeah, you're right. I don't think it's
You
actually,
intellectually know that it's a vessel.
but I can't
So you get the sense that if you can land a
see.
hit
Okay.
on a thing, because you've seen this happening so far, that seems to break the illusion.
Right. Okay. I'm I'm gonna just try and take out a couple of them with the dissonant whispers with that twin spell, like I was gonna do
All right.
earlier. And so, if there's a weak one, I want to hit that one, and then one of the other.
There is a one weak one who is about 45 feet from you at your 1 o'clock position.
Good. And then just another one that's, I think, if there's another one that's been hit, I'll hit that one. But if
There isn't another one that's been hit. There is one at about your 10 o'clock. It's about 50 feet from you.
Okay, cool. I think with twin spell, I roll once to hit, and I think so I'm gonna try and do dissonant whispers. Oh, and that's the saving throw one that they have to do.
Yeah. So that's perfect. I think if twin spell, because you're basically casting one spell, you get 2 spells for one. You still have to roll hit if there was actually being an attack roll for. In this case, it's a save.
So I can't use the dissonant whispers for it.
No, you
No,
can't.
I think he was just saying
gotcha.
if you were doing a twin spell with an attack roll, he'd make you roll to hit both.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, cool. But I'm gonna do that, and then also I'm gonna use a bardic inspiration die that I can expend. That I will roll a d8 for unsettling words as part of it as a bonus action. So, or wait, no.
Nice.
Sorcery. I gotta make
He
sure.
looks at him and says, "Babe, we need to talk." And they're very unsettled.
So the one that is weak is gonna have 7 less is gonna have a -7 to his saving throw. On his
Okay.
wisdom saving throw. So they both make wisdom saving throws.
Pretty unsettling.
Yeah.
What's the DC?
Spell save DC is 15.
You looked at the two of them and you said, "He's your best friend, but he's not your best friend." And it
Yeah.
really
That's
fucked up the guy.
Yeah. That's a different
the
spell I
one
have,
that's-
Scott.
The one that's really damaged after a -7 has 1, so it fails.
Ouch.
So you want to roll damage for that one, then we'll do the other one who hasn't been damaged yet.
Sure. 6. So that's gonna be 5 points of damage.
Alrighty.
And they have to immediately use their reaction if they have it available to move as far the speed away from me.
Hurt. Yep. The other one rolled a 13.
All right, so he failed too, and so he takes 12 points of damage.
Whoa.
And again, as Agathis casts a spell, you just hear these like whispering voices. Till thou canst rail the seal from off my bond, thou but offense thy lungs to speak so loud. Repair thy wit, good use, or it will fall to cureless ruin. And that those whispers strike them.
You see your words almost take physical form as it assails their heads, and they take this psychic damage. And you can see this look of shock and horror cross their face. They can't move right now, but darn it, they're going to as soon as they can.
Cool.
I thought he said they have to use their reaction to move, though. So don't they have to move if they have a reaction, or have they already used reaction?
Oh, I see. Yes, they could definitely move them now.
Yeah. So yeah, it says immediately use its reaction.
It's immediately.
I guess,
You are absolutely correct.
I'm just sparing you somebody fucking commenting.
Oh, I don't mind that at all. So those two have beelined it away from you. So from a visual perspective, one is now 75 feet away. The other one is 90 feet away from you.
Nice.
They've actually booked it back towards the main dragon.
Good. If I can make it back to cover, I do.
You can make it back to cover.
Cool.
You are back behind cover, and you are standing there next to Dark.
It's dark. I just want to correct you again. It's dark.
Dark.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else you want to do, Agathis?
Nope. That's my turn.
Dark.
Oh, perfect. Now, those two guys that just flew away, are either of them or is anybody who's not floating over a ship right now within 20 to 60 feet of the railing of this ship?
Of the railing, there are 2 within 20 feet. The one that's closest to you is about 60 feet total. You could easily close that distance and get within.
If I can get within 20
range.
feet, then I want to do that.
Yeah, you have 30 feet of motion that puts you right up in front of the railing, and that gets you right within 20 feet.
Perfect. I'd like to. Once I get up there, I'm just gonna casually whip a dagger at him up in the air
All right.
to try to hit him.
You may throw your dagger.
Excellent. That is a 15 to hit.
That hits.
Excellent. And while I am doing that, I am also specifically aiming, I guess, I don't know how you trip something in the air, but I'm aiming at its wings or whatever to execute a trip attack to knock it prone while it's in the air. Because let's just see what the hell happens when you're floating over nothing and you get knocked prone.
Interesting.
So it then, we've already done one of these, but it needs to make a strength saving throw of DC 16. Otherwise, it will get knocked prone.
It rolled a nat 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, then it did not, in fact, get knocked prone.
Quite
right now.
nimble.
But it will still take 14 damage that it will still take that guy.
Okay.
And then, is he still alive?
Still moving.
All right, great. I whiff a fucking hand axe at him then as well. And I'm
Just
doing the
whiffing
exact
everything
same
at
thing.
him?
Yeah, listen, I don't got that much on me, but I got a couple things I can chuck, so we're
right.
doing it. Well, don't you love it when you get a nat 1 on your next attack roll? So that's a 9 to hit.
Well, this time he is still kind of spinning from the dagger, and so you throw the dagger, solid hit. You'd thrown the hand axe expecting to be there, but he kind of turns just as he's getting hit and spinning, and the hand axe sails by.
That was my favorite hand axe, too. Oh, well.
Somebody
through.
far below is going to receive a hand axe.
Yeah, that's going to sting whoever catches that
Are we over
one.
water deep? Is this gonna happen on our next session? That Scott and I are in with you, Ryan, at your
callback.
house,
Yeah.
where this hand axe is gonna hit us.
Well, I'm
You know
not,
what? It's all interconnected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I want to action surge just to try to knock this guy down, so I think that'll probably be it for me since I've used all my movement, unless I can bonus action crouch down behind this railing.
No, unfortunately, it's movement. So
That's
yeah.
totally fine. Just also noting he does move 10 feet less because that was slashing damage.
Okay, excellent. So the guy that you had to hit, he's going to take a shot at you, first of all.
Oh.
Oh.
And that's going to be a 16 to hit.
Nope.
All right. So shot goes off, misses.
Come on.
He flies in and lands on the railing, drawing a large-looking sword, and prepares to. You're not sure what he's going to do with this next move. The guy behind him comes sailing in over the railing as well. Sees Lahayat. He's going to move to be within 10 feet. Lahayat, he is taking a shot at you with his gun. That's going to be a 17 to hit.
That will hit you. I don't know. Your AC is 17.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, you take 12 points of piercing damage as that bullet goes through and through. Probably hits lower abdomen and goes out the side there, causing a lot of pain as that guy lands.
Lahayat, no, how's your six-pack? Did he get the good one?
He got the middle one. It's my favorite one.
The two that had been made afraid of Agathis have made it back to the main ship, the main dragon, and they seem to land on its back as the dragon moves even closer to the rest of the ship. And you hear another concussive sound, except this time, instead of it being a cannon, you see grappling hooks coming from the vessel.
Hey, now we're talking.
And we're going to roll for those to hit. First one lands. Second one lands, got double 18s. So they launch in, and that breaks the illusion because you all know that a dragon doesn't have grappling hooks. And suddenly you all see this same about 50 to 75 foot vessel, kind of a rough mirror of this one. You see on the deck are more individuals, and you see this burly dude standing on top of it as it's kind of getting pulled in to the ship's side. The Obsidian Dawn crew firing back at them. You see, wow, 18 and a 20. You see the two guys that were wounded, they fall on the deck. They seem to have been taken out as they fall away. This bigger ship being reeled in. The large guns on the Obsidian Dawn, the back one doesn't have a good firing solution. The front one swings around and takes a series of shots. Only one, unfortunately, hits, but you see it tear through, and instead of it being like a large cannonball, these ones are probably about the size of a billiard ball. So it's firing rapid fire, these billiard ball sized things, and you see it tearing these holes in the side of the ship, splattering damage across it. That's going to take us back to the top of the turn. So we are now back at Lahayat. So you've got the ship being pulled in towards with grappling hooks. You've got a person.
Remind me, how many of these grapple hooks are currently attached?
There are two.
There are two. Got it.
You have two of these marauders who are on the deck right now. You've got the one who is 5 feet from you at about 9 o'clock. You've got one that's about 10 feet from you at your 12 o'clock. Dark is at your about 2 o'clock. He's about 15 feet from you. Okay. And just to your left is the mast of the ship. I know it's confusing, but I'm trying to give you some visual here.
No, you're quite okay. You're quite fine. The grapple hooks here, how are they attached exactly? Like, what is it made out of? Like a steel? Is it made of like a reinforced rope? Like, is it something that I could theoretically pierce?
Yes, it looks like these grappling hooks are made out of roughly 2-inch thick, heavy looking rope or cord. You're not sure what. And if you're looking at it, both of them landed about 15 feet apart from each other, and that roughly splits the difference with where you're standing. You could get to one of them pretty easily if you wanted to.
Then I think what I'm going to do is I'd like to move over to the closest grappling hook.
Okay.
And then probably for the first try, maybe try and is it possible to try and remove it?
Absolutely. So if you're moving, that's going to be 15 feet. You're actually going to be standing right next to Dark. As you are now here, you've got this large grappling hook that's the size of basically a medium-sized anchor. It's heavy, and you can see where it landed into it. It is like clawed into the wood. It's going to be...
Couldn't you cut the rope instead of try to move it?
Fair. I mean, I'm trying to
has a bow
figure
and
out.
a rapier, I think. Might be hard.
Yeah, I have a couple daggers, so
you have a
theoretically,
dagger, that's true.
depending on what would have the best chance of cutting through this rope. I mean, is it possible to do like some kind of let's see,
Bite it.
like insight or something?
So
Like a perception
given-
or something to be able to tell like what might be the best way to.
You're running over to it, you're looking at this, you're looking at all of the time that you've spent in the military and what you've seen. You're pretty good, and you survived this long, you know how to handle yourself out and about doing this type of work. And so you see this about 2-inch thick. You think that probably the quickest way to get rid of it would be probably to take your dagger, maybe saw at that rope and try to cut it as much as you can. If not be able to cut it all the way through, maybe just the shearing force would tear it the rest of the way.
Then I'd say for the first grapple hook there, then let me pull out that dagger and see if I can, whack away at it real fast to try and separate it from the ship.
So just to make sure you can hit it and don't fumble, go ahead and make your attack roll. The DC is not high, mainly so I can punish you if you roll a 1.
Right.
What if I said I didn't roll a 1, but I rolled a 3? Well, it's a 9. No,
It's a
plus
9.
6. It's a 9. It's
Yeah. No, you're fine. So you're able to get it out. The wind and your hands are a little bit damp, a little bit of perspiration, a little bit of humidity up here. You almost fumble the knife a little bit, but you're able to secure it, and now you can get in there and start trying to attack the rope with it. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Okay. Let's see what not too hot. 4.
Okay. So this rope is super thick, and you absolutely start making a dent into it. But at this speed, you recognize it's going to take you a moment. So you definitely have done damage to the rope, but you've got some more work to do to fully cut through it.
I could. Well, yeah, I could roll again to try and cut all the way through it.
Absolutely.
Well, do one more then. All right, let me roll for the hit. Oh God, is that a 7 or is that a 1? Please God, tell me. Okay, it's a 13. All right, 13 to hit.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage again.
Oof, would have been awkward.
Roll rope damage.
All right, a little better this time. That's about a 6.
All right, awesome. So you managed to cut halfway through the rope.
Damn it.
So it still has. It's thick. This is tough.
a thick
this
rope.
thing is
It's a thick rope, bro.
That's laying rope, right? So as you get through that rope, it is starting to shear and pull and strain, and you definitely feel like you could keep working on it, but that the strength has been reduced significaway.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to do?
How far away between? So, Dark is right next to me. You said about like what, 5 feet away?
With where this landed, you are right in front of this grappling hook. He is immediately to your right. So
immediately to the right.
Immediately to your
Where's
right.
the closest? The other illusion.
The closest enemy is about there's 5 feet separating you, and he is just to your left, a little bit in front.
Okay.
So you are basically between Dark and this enemy.
Can I grab some, a little bit of inspiration from Doc here and potentially use one of my daggers can you use a bonus action to throw it at the?
No, it's an
that
attack.
counts as an action.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Okay, then I'm just gonna end my turn right there because I don't really think there's nothing more I can do right there.
That's perfect. That's pretty good though. So you were able to significantly destabilize the consistency of that rope by cutting halfway through it. It looks like it's now straining, and the threads are starting to pop off as you've cut a lot of it through. Maz.
Okay, so who's near me? He's near me trying to cut the rope with a knife.
Right. So right now, you've got Dark is about 15 feet to your left. Then you've got Lahayat right in front of him.
Okay.
About another 5 feet away is one of these marauders standing on the railings, kind of got his feet hooked into it. So he's got this rifle there on one hand and a long-looking sword in the other. And then there is another individual who has landed on the deck. It is 10 feet away from that group, and from your standpoint, he is 40 feet away to your left.
Got it. So there's 2 people on the deck.
Correct. The main ship, from your perspective, at the leading edge, is 60 feet away.
The ship is 60 feet away.
Yep.
Okay, I've already broke through the illusion. Can I just peer over the balcony there, the railing, and see if I can see who is steering the ship?
Yep. So looking over at the vessel behind the main mast, you can't quite make out who it is. You do see the ship's wheel, and you hear someone calling directions, but you then realize the person calling directions is this hulking form of a man who's standing on the deck in front of the main mast.
So there's one person who I can see who's barking orders.
Yep. And the person piloting the vessel, you can't quite make them out, but they don't seem to be saying anything.
And then there's a person piloting. Got it.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to stand up with clean line of sight at both of them, and I kind of concentrate and try to lock eye, or at least, focus on both of them, those 2 specific individuals. I'm going to cast sleep
Okay.
on both of them.
All right.
Okay.
Leap.
I think he said sleep.
Yes.
Or did you say leap?
Sleep.
Or
Okay, I heard leap.
Yeah.
Sleep.
I'm gonna
Sleep,
make
dude.
them
No,
be
no,
able
no.
to jump really far.
Sleep.
Yes.
So I got a noise gate. Got a noise gate on this bad boy here. I will not be jumping.
I command you to leap.
Yeah.
That could be effective.
That could be very effective.
I'm going to do sleep, I guess, level 2. Let's see. I've never cast this before, so we're gonna see what happens.
The way sleep works, whatever you roll gives you
Right.
like this hit point pool.
Like deficit or
right.
Cool, sure,
and
yeah.
whichever character's in that range hit that hit point maximum first,
Right.
falls asleep.
If they hit the
You know
hit
what?
point.
I'll go level 3.
Hell
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go level 3 sleep.
Level 3, son.
How does when you cast the spell using a spell, 2d8 for each slot above first. Okay, so 5d8 plus.
An extra 4d8.
So I'm rolling 9d8.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
See how much health they have.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9d8. It's a lot of die.
It is.
That's pretty awesome.
50. Wow, I rolled very high. Holy
Right.
cow.
That's amazing. Really well done. Okay, so Maz, what does it look like as you cast sleep?
Standing up. This one's probably a more powerful spell. Standing up, both arms kind of extended. If I was trying to, I guess I wasn't trying to hide the magic missile before, but it's very clear that I'm an arcane caster now. Eyes start to glow bright blue, and then kind of a explosion of at least a wave of arcana kind of bursts out in the direction of the ship.
As this wave comes out of you, it takes on this form of like roiling lines and wisps of sand as it kind of cascades towards the ship. And you see the person barking orders and the person behind him who's steering things and maneuvering all these different controls. You see them both kind of stumble a little bit and their heads bow some. The one who was standing up barking orders sways and actually falls. The one who was holding on to the ship's controls gets a little lightheaded and falls forward into the controls. The entire ship veers directly towards the Obsidian Dawn.
I
You
love it.
hear
Good.
the
I love
sound of like straining engines as it comes barreling towards it, and I think we should call it there for tonight.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Good. Good.
This could either be a good play or a bad play, but I'm excited to
That's
see
great.
which.
Good. The storyteller in the tavern takes another shot from the bartender and throws another shot back as she takes a pause in her story. And we are back zooming out from the Talltale Tavern, taking a pause in the story for this week. So, with that, thank you to all the players this week, Scott, Fallout Time, and special thanks to our wonderful DM, Ryan. Their socials can be found in the description of the video and in the description of the podcast. If you want to see the video of the episode, it will be up on our YouTube. Follow us at Talltale Tavern Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Join our Discord with the link in the description. Thank you to Tyler Adelsperger for our intro music. Thank you to Zaezar for our artwork. And with that, we will see you next time to see where this story goes. What happens? I'm excited. Woo! At the Talltale Tavern.